5 p.m. Can I have a moment of silence, please? Please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Mrs. Turner, Ms. Blystein, Mr. Bromhall,
Here.
Mr. Evans,
Here.
Mr. Gaffney,
Here.
Ms. Iacone,
Here.
Mr. Kenny,
Here.
Ms. Quinn, Ms. Fitzwater here. Statement is hereby made that adequate notice of this meeting was given by submission of said notice to the Burlington County Times, the Courier Post, the Cinnaminson Township Clerk, and the district website on the following dates: March 3rd, March 28th, and the change of date advertised on April 19th, 2023. We're going to go into Section 4, routine business. We have the Board Secretary's report for March of 23, the Treasurer's report for March of 23, the budget receipts and transfers for March of 23, the monthly transfer report as of May 3rd, high school activities report for April, the food service management cost performance statement for April, the certified bill list, April 5th through April 30th, and May 1st through May 3rd. The approval of minutes, the regular meeting, April 18th, the public hearing on April 25th, executive session on April 25th, and executive session on April 18th. Mr. Gaffney, can I have a motion to approve Section 4, routine business, letters A through H?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Bromhall?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 5, routine matters. We have the enrollment report for May 5th, 2023, the health report for April, the fire alarm report for April, the crisis drill report for April, the HIB report, and the superintendent's monthly report. Mr. Capello.
Thank you, Mrs. Fitzwater, and thank you to all the members of the public who have come out for this evening's meeting, which is representative of the crowd that we normally have. It is normally this well-attended, and if you're not normally here, just go with that. So it is an exciting board meeting, one of our favorites of the year, this one and our next month, when we have an opportunity to recognize some of the students. And I'll start with my most exciting update, particularly for our students. It is testing season in Cinnaminson, so shout out to all of our teachers, administrators, and our district test coordinator for doing such a good job administering our NJSLA, COGATS, AP testing, and all of the wonderful opportunities our students have to show how much knowledge they've gained this year. So good luck to all of our students as they finish out assessment season. A couple of things and folks to recognize. Our New Albany Students of the Month. Congratulations to the April Pirates of the Month from last month. They are Connor Bond in kindergarten, Gracie Bernard in first grade, Angelo Carvalho in second grade, and Maxwell Harris, the Special Star Student of the Month. Also like to recognize some of the folks over at the Eleanor Rush School who hosted on May 3rd the first annual, we hope will be the first annual, STEAM Night. Our teacher volunteered to host students in different fifth grade classrooms doing a variety of subject-specific activities in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And thank you all of the folks who made that a fantastic event. This is also, in addition to being recognition season, assessment season, it is also performance season. The students in our musical program work so hard, as do the staff members, in putting together performances that represent the hard work that they've done throughout the course of the year. So please mark your calendars for the following events. On the 17th, the CHS Choir Concert happens. On the 24th, the CMS Cabaret. On 5/25, the District Strings Concert. The end of the month on the 31st is the CMS Band Concert. And on 6/3 is the High School Cabaret. They are always excellent and outstanding demonstrations of our students' talents. There's a variety of field days and field trips and fitness frenzies that we celebrate this time of year, so check back at the update in June on, I'm sure, what will prove to be fantastic events. As I did mention, this is recognition season, and thank you to all of our home and school members and our administrators who put together fantastic programs to recognize our educators. And a little later in this evening's board meeting, we'll have an opportunity for the board to recognize some outstanding educators in a couple of different fronts. We have our academic awards coming, our People's Choice Award. Next week, we celebrate National Nurses Day, and on May 14th through 20th, we celebrate Special Education Week. Today, speaking of Special Education Week, today I had a chance to visit the Students with Diverse Ability Affinity Group Be Love Fair. This is a great job done by all of our student leaders to demonstrate their diverse abilities, leading activities in the arts, music, dance, academics, and athletics. Special shout out to Ms. Monique Boges, Ms. Kim Maroff, and Mr. Gorman for a fantastic activity that was representative of all of the students at Cinnaminson High School. I'd also like to recognize our friends at the Cinnaminson Education Foundation. If that's not an organization that you're familiar with, you're going to see a communication come out from my office real soon, enlisting the help of some volunteers to get involved with this organization that has served as the charitable arm of the district in helping to provide our students with opportunities for special things like guest speakers, field trips, academic opportunities, grants for teachers to apply for, to bring that tool in their classroom that the district budget was just not able to make possible. So for a great number of years, the CEF has been sponsoring many activities in the district, and their primary funding source is a golf outing, which comes at the end of June, and more information to follow on that. So at this point, I don't normally do this, but I have a couple of folks who I would like to recognize publicly. And first, if I could recognize Ms. Spencer. Ms. Spencer, you are in the back, right? If you don't mind, I'll just ask if you could, if you don't even have to come up, if you could just stand up so the board folks can lay their eyes on you and on JB, your little buddy right there. So as everybody in this room knows who has spent time in our schools, we have a fantastic academic program, fantastic teachers, and one of the definite jewels in our district is our Bright Eyes program. And Mr. and Mrs. Spencer, their family and friends, they donated outdoor playground equipment, games, and classroom supplies to not only their child's classroom, but to all of the classrooms in our preschool. It was an amazing show of kindness and generosity and the kind of things that make Cinnaminson the town that it is and make our schools the schools that they are. So if you would, please join me in a round of applause in thanking the JP and Mr. and Mrs. Spencer and all of the folks who had a chance to donate. I was going to project the very adorable picture of the excitement our students felt, but my technology is not cooperating, so I would highly encourage that you visit our social media to see some of the pictures of our students receiving these wonderful donations. And on behalf of the Board of Education and myself, Mrs. Spencer, thank you for coming here tonight to be recognized publicly, and thank you for JB for being a sport and staying up with us. No one will be upset if you have to sneak out.
We were able to donate over 175 individual items in total.
So I don't know if the folks at home heard that, but with some quantitative numbers, they were able to donate over 175 different items. And again, I'd highly recommend that you go check out our social media page because you can see some of the items look like they're a ton of fun and make our already awesome program even better. And thank you again to the support of the Spencer family and all of those who helped make that possible. And as I transition out of my remarks, I want to wish a very happy Mother's Day for everyone that is celebrating this weekend, right? It's this weekend. And one more person I'd like to recognize as we transition next into the presentation portion of our program. But this past Wednesday, May 3rd, the Burlington County Prevention Plus recognized our CHS counselor, Mr. Anthony Faltz. Mr. Faltz, if you could stand up for a second. Mr. Faltz was recognized as their Member of the Year at their annual award ceremony. It was nice enough to invite us to attend, and how well regarded and well respected you are, Mr. Faltz, not only in our school district, but in Burlington County and the greater South Jersey community. Certainly a testament to you and the work that you do here on behalf of our students, and we'll look forward to hearing from you a little bit later, but congratulations on this great and well-deserved honor. Okay, and with that, Mrs. Fitzwater, that is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Mr. Kenny, can I have a motion to, routine matters, items A through F?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gaffney. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Moving on to Section 6, the student representative reports, and the high school representative first, Ms. Emma Schreier.
Good evening. The Golden Apple Award was given to Mrs. Jen Alvarado by Kirsten Hess. Also, Mrs. Sarah Scavier received the Golden Apple Award from Madeline Hubbard. The April Students of the Month are as follows. Class of 2023, Olivia Catalano. Class of 2024, Michael Beers. Class of 2023, Suri Horner. And Class of 2026, Shiloh Moore. All spring sports are continuing their 2023 seasons. For baseball, the team's record is 11-5. The team played in the first and second round of the Diamond Classic. In the first round, they beat Cherry Hill East 3-1, but unfortunately lost to St. Augustine. The softball team's record is 12-3 after their win against Haddon Township on Friday, extending their winning streak to 10 games. Congrats to Zara McNair, who was the NJ.com Player of the Week in the BCSL. Sarah led her team to a 4-0 record this past week with wins against Collingswood, Burlington, Haddon Heights, and Delran. Zara also went 8 for 11 at-bats with 5 runs scored, 5 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. The golf team's record is 5-7 after a win on Friday. Ryan Gibson posted the low round of the year with a 37. The boys' tennis team continues its season, and their record is 4-5. The boys' volleyball team finished their season with a record of 9-15. The girls' lacrosse team's record is 9-2 after defeating Morristown Friends School on Friday. Great effort by all on attack and defense. The boys' lacrosse team advanced to a 9-3 record for the season so far after their 19-7 win on Friday's senior night game versus New Egypt. The track team continues its successful season. At Penn Relays, Derek Robinson took 5th place, becoming the first Cinnaminson athlete to place at Penn in 20 years. Malachi Etienne finished 9th in discus, just missing the finals with his throw of 168-3. The boys also had a successful night at the South Jersey Elite Meet, where only the best of the best competed. Malachi Etienne won the discus and was 3rd in the shot put. Eddie Frey was 3rd in the pole vault with a 13-0 PR. Derek Cosiano was 4th in the 800. Alex Boyko 4th in the 1600 with a 4 minutes and 17.55 second personal record. And Matt McCarron was 5th in the 1600. And Derek Robinson 5th in the triple jump with a 14 and 1.75 PR. The CHS Play Unified track team braved the cold on Thursday when they traveled to Morristown High School and competed in every event. Great job by everyone. Come out and see them in their home meet on Thursday at 3:15. Elections for student council officers and class officers begin today. Students who are interested can pick up election materials beginning today. All election materials are due on Wednesday, May 31st by the end of the day. Elections will be via Google form on Wednesday, June 7th during 6-period Smart Lunch. Maddie Harris's positivity and dedication to helping others inspired the Cinnaminson High School's Kickin' Cancer Group to organize a soccer game fundraiser on April 27th between the district staff and students. 6 students, Leah Del Grippo, Brooke Stendelovich, Ava Stendelovich, Sura Malongo, Nicole Howe, and Riley Vogelman created this event to make a meaningful contribution to the Harris family and remember Maddie's legacy. Under the guidance of Mrs. Arbalez and Dr. McCann, these students spearheaded the fundraiser that raised an estimated sum of $6,900 through the sale of t-shirts, bracelets, snacks, and admission donations. The evening began with DJ Mr. Noble and the national anthem sung by Emma Schreier, Dean Clark, Chelsea Von Posniak, and Nick Olson. Despite putting up a good fight, the staff from various schools ultimately lost to a mix of high school students and 8th graders. This event was a resounding success and raised the needed funds to sponsor the Maddie Harris Memorial Scholarship for the next 6 years. The Maddie Harris Scholarship will be given each year to a senior who goes above and beyond to help others, embodying positive and trustworthy qualities that Maddie herself exemplified during her battle with cancer. The CHS music students had an amazing trip to see the Metropolitan Opera's performance of La Boheme on April 28th. Our students saw music and theater at its absolute highest form and had a wonderful day. The CHS Choir Concert is May 17th at 7 p.m. in the CHS Auditorium. Come celebrate all the colors of the rainbow in music and song. Cinnaminson will host a coffee house cabaret on June 3rd from 3 to 6 p.m. in the CHS cafeteria. Here, students from the entire music department will sing and perform songs, while audience members can enjoy coffee, tea, and snacks in a relaxed coffee house-style atmosphere. The suggested donation is $5. Congratulations to Samantha Bobrin and Kim Mason on their acceptance into the 2023 All-State Choir. They were selected from over 700 auditioners and will perform at concerts in Atlantic City and the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark, New Jersey in November. The Cinnaminson Music Department is excited to host the annual District Spring Band Concert on Wednesday, May 31st in the CHS Auditorium. This event will feature the Rush School Advanced Band, CMS Band and Jazz Band, and the CHS Concert Band, Jazz Band, and Chamber Ensembles. Congratulations to members of the Cinnaminson Band Program on an excellent performance with the Western Burlington County Music Alliance Honors Band. 16 Cinnaminson musicians in 7th to 12th grades performed with their musical peers from the area at Morristown High School, putting on an excellent performance and representing our district with pride. ICDC individual event qualifiers are as follows for DECA. Stephanie Renoff, in 12th grade, who's chapter president, competed in hotel and lodging management, while Derek Cosiano, in 12th grade, competed in the food marketing series. Each completed a 90-minute written test and performed 2 in-person role plays with DECA judges. They were not finalists in their respective events, but represented CHS well. NHS will be organizing Senior Workday for Friday, June 2nd. This event is a main fundraiser for NHS and provides teachers in the high school with extra assistance in their classrooms. We are looking forward to the event and anticipate it being a success. Finally, for Interact, sandwich making for Cathedral Kitchen will take place on May 17th in the cafeteria. They will also be sending volunteers to the Frank Fullerton Jr. Memorial Park beautification project in Morristown on May 13th. Also, the club will be helping out at the New Albany Spring Dance on May 21st. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Comments from the board? Okay, we'll move on to the middle school representative report. Lucia Gillette.
Good evening. Cinnaminson Middle School is proud to announce its Students of the Month for March. Congratulations to 6th grader Brenna McConney, 7th grader Ella Perno, and 8th grader Zay Dozier. The spring sports season is going great. The girls' A team is 3-3 and the B team is doing well. All the boys are working hard this baseball season. Our track team is going strong. The girls have got their 400 down to a minute flat. As for lacrosse, each team is doing pretty amazing. Today was the 8th grade games and there were many girls honored. Both of our 8th grade goalies, Abby B and Molly G, have been working hard to block many shots. Congrats to all of our teams for their hard work and dedication. The 7th and 8th grade NJHS created care packages and door signs for all our faculty and staff at Cinnaminson Middle School in honor of Teacher Appreciation Week. The Stop Club collected donations for the Good Counsel Home in Riverside. The Good Counsel Home is a nationally recognized nonprofit women and children's shelter that runs solely off donations from generous individuals. It offers residential care and community-based services for the homeless, expectant, and new mothers and their children. On April 27th at 6:30 p.m. at CHS, students and staff participated in a soccer game for Kicking Cancer in honor of CMS 8th grader Maddie Harris. There was a wonderful turnout and Cinnaminson Schools raised about $7,000 for a scholarship in Maddie Harris's name. Our 6th graders went on a trip to Philadelphia on April 28th to culminate their novel, Fever. It was a fun and exciting day that took them back in time. The 7th graders went to the zoo on Friday after a long hiatus. They had a beautiful day and enjoyed their time at the zoo. May is Better Hearing and Speech Month. A speech-language hearing disorder can affect people of all ages from infancy to geriatrics. In schools, speech-language pathologists work on speech sounds, language skills, social communication, and speech fluency since these can affect a student's academics. Audiologists are experts who can help to prevent, diagnose, and treat hearing and balance disorders of people of all ages. Some important dates in May. This week is our NJSLA, ELA, and math testing, and next Monday and Tuesday, the 15th and the 16th, is our 8th graders' science part. May 19th is our Fitness Frenzy half day for our students. May 29th, there will be no school. Congratulations to all of the Teacher of the Year winners and the Board of Education Award winners. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great night.
Thank you, Lucia. Any questions or comments for her? Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to section 7. We have a few presentations tonight. First one is going to be about our Wellness Center at the high school, and the presenters will be Mr. Anthony Faltz and Ms. Janae Dawkins.
And also Mr. Ryan Gorman as they're transitioning up here. Members of the board, it is a visual presentation. If you're unable to turn around, you want to relocate over here. And I'm going to leave it to Mr. Gorman to do the formal introduction.
While you guys are getting situated, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for giving us a chance to come here this evening and talk about a program that we're really excited about. The Wellness Center really started out of some of the challenges that we faced over the last couple of years, right? We had a lot of conversations about things like attendance and school avoidance and academic challenges and kids coming to school and going to class on time. And we were really looking for solutions on how we might create an environment in which those students might have more resources with which to solve challenges that they're facing. We really felt like a lot of those things manifested in a couple primary areas, right? Attendance, cutting class avoidance, and challenges with managing the stress of a daily existence. So we were looking for, what we found was students were finding unhealthy ways to manage that stress, right? They would go to the bathroom, they would not come to class, they would look for additional time with students that they had relationships with, but it wouldn't necessarily lead to a contact point with a staff member that would allow them to develop some healthy strategies in order to resolve that stress and or get them back in the class as soon as we can. So we really wanted to find a place within our school that we could focus that energy, make a contact point that students would know about, and staff would be there at any time for a walk-in, anytime a kid might need 15 minutes to either deal with a problem or to get on the other side of a problem, and to have that time be supervised by a staff member that would have the skills necessary to put them on the right track. So that led us to the creation of the Wellness Center and my opportunity to introduce Mr. Faltz and Ms. Dawkins, who are the experts behind this particular initiative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. One small positive thought each morning can change your whole day is the motto that we base our intro to our Wellness Center. And at CHS, being proud to be stigma-free is one of our key aspects when dealing. So what is the Wellness Center? The Wellness Center is a safe, supportive space on campus where students can access social emotional support that addresses mental, emotional, and social concerns while offering strategies to increase their resilience and overall well-being. And our mission is dedicated to meet the overall social, emotional, and mental health needs of our students to ensure their academic success, mental well-being, so they can continue to live the best versions of themselves. Behaviors through education and wellness activities and services, provide mental health and supportive counseling interventions and referrals, and decrease students' absenteeism, time out of class, and increase learning. So why do we need such an environment? According to the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration 2021 report, individuals from the age of 13 and 17, there was reported to have 14% experiencing mood disorders, so 32% experiencing anxiety disorders, and 19% experiencing behavioral disorders. Schools are in a distinct position to recognize these early signs of mental, behavioral, and developmental disorders, provide social emotional support services, foster skills necessary to address challenges during their adolescent years. And in the wake of COVID, as we can understand, is that statistically speaking, the needs for mental health has drastically increased, with an increased need for mental health services not only in our district, but in the county and statewide and across our nation. The limited services that we have where it comes to mental health, inpatient, partial programs, and intensive outpatient programs have been extremely limited and been taxed. Waiting lists have grown and grown, and it's been more and more difficult to have students receive those services as well as provide those supports for those families. To address that, Cinnaminson High School has addressed those needs here in the Wellness Center for our students and our families. So the services that we provide: individual and group counseling, social skills, self-care, mindfulness, coping strategies for anxiety and depression, mental health assessments, healthy relationships, conflict mediation and resolution, referrals to community resources, grief and loss, family issues, and substance abuse prevention and education can all be found in our Wellness Center. Students are permitted to visit the center before school, during breaks, lunch, and after school, providing a safe space for students to take a quiet, structured 15-minute break or complete a wellness check-in or access community resources and programs are the goals that we offer for our students each day that the school is open.
All righty, so we opened our doors on October 3rd, again, starting at just lunch, and then as months went on, we allowed students to access either myself or Mr. Faltz, come in for groups, eat lunch there, and, we kind of made this a great, unique space for students to access. As a 2013 graduate of this school, it's nice to see that the board I really want to thank the board for allowing us, for our school to have this opportunity. So it's very nice to see as an alumni of CHS. So like I just said, we opened our doors on October 3rd, and then as you see, our numbers are grown, and we hit our peak in January, about 1,000 kids, and then we kind of see a decrease around February and March of kind of leveled out again of students coming in again for lunch or to speak to myself or Mr. Faltz as well to get the appropriate support. All right, and just a few quotes that students left. Again, this is myself playing in the cancer game last Thursday. Again, my skills are still good, so it was nice to be out there on the field with the kids and playing in this fabulous for Ms. Harris. So again, it's a great opportunity, and again, I want to thank the board for allowing us to provide the space for our students at CHS. And last week, we had one of our new students start, and she was able to access the wellness room and really was thankful that the school has this opportunity and wish more schools kind of shift towards this route. So we're grateful for that as well.
Nice job. So I think two things stand out to me from those two particular quotes that were up on the board. One is a student that's been here all along. He's a Cinnaminson lifer, and he is self-proclaimed that at several times he's had challenges that he needed help getting through. And as a byproduct of his participation in the Wellness Center, he sees it as a home, a place where he can come in and he knows he'll get support, and he'll be able to get the resources that he needs to get through the day. The other is a student that's only been here a couple months, and even in that short time, she recognizes the value of the Wellness Center and wishes that she had a resource like that for the duration of her high school career. And I think that's really a credit to the Board of Education, because the creation of the Wellness Center required an allocation of resources. It gave us the opportunity to add Ms. Dawkins to the staff, and I'm really grateful for that commitment that we've made to ensuring that the students at Cinnaminson High School have the resources that they need in order to be successful, whether that's academic or wellness, mental health, and in all aspects of what it takes to be a child in a modern day environment. And I think that's really a credit to both the board and the community in recognizing the value of that and allocating the resources necessary to do it. That brings us to the end of our presentation. If the board has any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'll be happy to get out of the way and make room for the next presentation.
I do have one. So I noticed your numbers, and they are dropping off as the year's going on, but do you think that our students are being given the tools to handle their anxiety better?
To speak from the 1,000-point view, and then I'll get out of the way and let someone who actually does the work every day talk, I think, that's certainly the goal, right? So we are in the process of kind of collecting that information. I hope by the end of the year, we'll be able to speak with more specificity about those kids that frequent the Wellness Center and their rates of attendance or other associated class absence. Also, around January, February, we modified the hours of the Wellness Center a little bit, and we removed a period. So that kind of accounts, so that's one period of students that don't actually get to use it that period. But I think overall, we're hoping to maintain occurrences that are similar to what you see in the second half of the year, where students are using it when necessary. And then I think the peak is really kind of mid-year related, right? You have holiday stress, you have kids coming back from break who haven't had a chance to connect with a counselor or a staff member or that person at the high school that they trust, and using that time to reconnect and get through whatever challenges they may have faced. If you'd like to add something, feel free.
Typically during those numbers, as you can see, as we started in October, the numbers steadily going up. You know, we had students come in for multiple different reasons, whether they needed just a 15-minute break or to seek services. As those concerns grew, we saw more students feel more at home. Finding a home during lunch periods where a lot of different students will use that space for their safe haven to reconnect with some of the staff. And as you can see, as we open our doors for more and more, it kind of peaked in January. Typically in January, coming off the holidays, many of you already know that sometimes the holidays are difficult, right? People experience holidays, losses are then rekindled. First experiences when losing a family member or someone is very traumatic. So typically you would see spikes during that time of the year in the wintertime. In February and March, we were also doing Team Mental Health First Aid, which is something that we just did this year, where we have all the students and actually all our sophomores were trained in a 6-week, 1-day period where they themselves were students, helping students link to individuals for mental health services while they had their peers experience a mental health crisis. So during that training, we saw a spike as we were talking in those groups. For those of them that felt overwhelmed, that needed a break, came in there. In addition, we also provided some services there to conduct some classes for students that made up. So as you can see, it kind of peaked out. And then coming off the holiday break, people are kind of like moving off into their spring. Hopefully, we'll see what our numbers look like this year and then compare them to next year. So that's typically the trend that you would see.
It's also year 1 of 1, right? So we don't 100% know if that spike in January is climate or weather. Hopefully we'll find out next year.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Mr. Foltz, Mr. Stockings. There we go, we're back. I've relocated, and thank you for that wonderful and outstanding presentation. The Wellness Center at the high school has quickly become a treasure within the school district as a resource for our students. And speaking of some of the treasures and outstanding things happening in our district, this is, like I mentioned earlier, one of the greatest times to come to a board meeting as we have an opportunity to recognize some of the outstanding staff that not only work in student-facing roles, but also in support roles to make this district the great district that it is. So we'll be introducing folks from all 4 of our schools, including some central office positions, who will be recognized for 2 different things, actually 3 different things this evening. We have our Governor's Educator of the Year, a program sponsored by the governor, where our folks in each school building are nominated as an educator from a teaching staff role. They would then submit and are eligible for competition to be the County Teacher of the Year, and ultimately the state does select one State Teacher of the Year. So folks will be recognized as a part of the Governor's Educator of the Year program. We also have a long-standing tradition in this district of the Board of Education recognizes someone with the distinction of Board of Education Award winner. This is something that is more unique to Cinnaminson, and it is a great honor bestowed upon the folks who are recognized, and essentially everyone in the school is eligible to receive that award, and along with that award comes a small token amount of grant money that can be used for that person's passion project to do something that is student-facing to make the district a better place, and the award winner has some latitude in how they direct those funds. And also we will be recognizing our district ESP of the year, as we will hear about in just a little bit. At this time, I'd like to call up our first presenter, Mr. Mark Tyndall, who will be giving out the award on behalf of our operations department. And we're very good at staff recognition, but we're not as good at coordinating pictures, so bear with us as we give the award and then pose for a couple of pictures. So with that, Mr. Tyndall, you're up.
Good evening, Mr. Capella, board members, honored guests, friends, and family. It was with nothing but respect to the operations department. Award winner this year is Mrs. Lisa Woods. Lisa, come on up. As you know, most of you know, the operations department is the complaint department for the district. I've listened to Lisa make many, many phone calls, including the tornado that just came through, with her voice that never changes. She does all this while doing hundreds of building usage, hundreds of work orders, in a department that has 12 men in it, half of them being under the age of 30 and not married. She never complains, and just a privilege and an honor to work with. I just want to say thank you, and I have the opportunity. Her family's here tonight. I can't say thank you enough in person when I'm with her, but thank you, Lisa.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, I'd like to call up our presenter from the Memorial School, Mr. Steve Capello. I was toying with whether or not that joke would land. It successfully did not, thank you. I would, however, I am seldom charged with doing this, but this year I have the honor of presenting our Memorial School, or Central Office Administrative Buildings Board of Education Award Winner of the Year. And I'd like to call up Kate. Kate, if you don't mind coming and stand next to me. Congratulations, Kate. I would officially like to recognize Ms. Kate Isaiah as the 2023 Board of Education Award winner for the Memorial School. Ms. Isaiah serves as the district's data management coordinator. What that means is all of the things that parents and staff members do behind the scenes that make our schools go, including our Genesis, our Google Suite, the district website, our human resource databases, the way that we hire and onboard new staff. All of these databases and all of this data management that we rely on to teach kids all happens in Ms. Isaiah's office. She holds an undergraduate degree in math from Immaculata College and a master's degree from Penn State. And despite only coming to us last March, it's been just a little over a year, she was nominated by a cadre of her peers to receive this award in the first year that she was eligible. So I think that is a true testament to her work ethic and what it is like to work with Kate. Most recently, she has been charged with launching the new Cinnaminson Alumni Network, and she has done all of the legwork to ensure that that had a successful launch and continues to grow day by day. Though often found behind the scenes, her work touches every student, staff member, and parent in the district. All of this, and she prides herself on her work and a job well done. She is also the proud mother of 3 boys, I believe one of which is here with us this evening. So congratulations to Kate on behalf of the Board of Education on your award. Congratulations, Kate. Congratulations. All right, at this time, I'd like to call up our team from the New Albany School.
Good evening. I'd like to have Mrs. Anne Marie Engel join us up front, please. So it's my honor to recognize Mrs. Anne Marie Engel for the Governor's Educator of the Year this year. She's an exceptional second grade teacher and one of the most humble teachers that I know. She readily welcomes a challenge, and actually, around about this time last year, she came into my office and told me that we could give her any challenging students because she really liked to help them academically. She is now the co-teacher in an inclusive classroom, so thank you. She's worked diligently each and every day to help her students achieve their very best, not just academically, but also socially and emotionally. Often, you can find Mrs. Engel unselfishly giving up her lunch and prep to sit with students and help them. In addition, she makes learning fun and engaging and is an excellent communicator, keeping her families engaged in their child's learning. Mrs. Engel was instrumental in implementing the Book Buddy program this year, where that gives all of our students, no matter what grade level they're in, an opportunity to go to other classrooms throughout the year and read to their peers. She comes to school each day with a renewed optimism and a positive attitude. So we thank Mrs. Engel for all of her hard work, dedication, and energy that she gives to our students. Congratulations.
Hello. Next, we'd like to call up Mrs. Rebecca Craney. So, Mrs. Craney is our Board of Education Achievement Award recipient for New Albany School. She is one of our paraprofessionals in our school that works with first grade, and I just can't express how excited I am to talk about her today, and I wish there was more time because I can go on and on about this woman. So, I get a glimpse of what she's like. Every year, I'm in charge of, making the duty schedule for our teachers at the beginning of the year. Rebecca comes up to me one day, and I have to tell you, the least coveted position is usually bus line duty because you have to be out there in all different types of weather conditions, rain or shine. Rebecca comes up to me and says, hey, is it okay if I'm on bus line duty all year? Like, you don't even have to rotate me out. And I looked at her and I said, what? And she said, I just love greeting the kids and I just want to smile and welcome them, and I'd love to be the first person they see when they get off the bus in the morning. And I can't even tell you how true that is till this day. Every day she's out there smiling, they're running up giving her a hug, she knows everyone's name even if they're not her students, and she sets the tone for the entire day for not only the students but the staff as well. She also is just a selfless person, always giving, always loving. If you know anything about her, if you need something, she's there for you immediately, thinking about what the next thing is she could do to help you. ELL night, we had our first ELL night last year, and I just went up to her, hey, you have any ideas for a craft, we could do with the kids? Next thing you know, she ran with it and made it her own initiative. She volunteered, she put things together in little baggies with crafts and popsicle sticks, and just did an amazing job. She is just pure, I can't even express, she is a ray of sunshine over our district. If you've been able to see on social media, we had a little video for her with sunshine and sunflowers, and that's really what she is. So we're so lucky to have her, our students, our staff, our community, and I'm so happy she's part of our New Albany family. So congratulations. Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to welcome our team from the Rush School, Mrs. DeSimone and Ms. Mealy.
Well, it is my absolute pleasure to present Rush School's Governor's Educator of the Year Award to our fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Leslie Ostrowski. Come on up, Leslie. So Leslie is not just a teacher by profession. A passionate educator is who she is as a person. Many words can be used to describe Leslie and her dedication to educating our Cinnaminson students. The first word that comes to mind is kind-hearted. Leslie works feverishly to create a classroom environment in which students feel safe and cared for. She truly gets to know her students on a personal level, even making the effort of visiting their homes before the school year begins to introduce herself and her co-teacher. As a veteran teacher in an inclusion classroom for more than the past decade, it's been quite a while, Leslie has ensured that her classroom is a happy and successful place to learn for every one of her students. The next word to describe Leslie is prepared. An early bird by nature, Leslie is one of the first staff members to cross the threshold into the building each day. She uses this quiet before the storm norm to plan and prepare her very detailed, engaging lessons. Leslie is never caught off guard and is very talented at foreseeing any hiccups that may arise and nipping them in the bud. She is a lifelong learner. Over the past 2 years, Leslie continued her own education, recently receiving her master's degree, so congratulations to you. She worked diligently to ensure that she was making the most of her classes, and the reason that she has always stated that she wanted to further her education is so that she could be better for her students. She strives to make the biggest impact on their learning that is possible. Another word is generous. Leslie gives of her time without question. For our evening events, you can find Leslie running one of the sessions. She was also part of the group of staff members that painted all kinds of fun games on our playground. As inclusivity is important to her, Leslie is an active member of the Rush School Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Committee, and she collaborates with those other team members to make sure that we have events and awareness throughout our school and hallways. A few other examples of her giving nature is her organization of the field trip to see Number the Stars, the play, each year. She tutors after school for our Success for Strategies program, and started and continues a running club for our students who share this common interest. She is the quintessential colleague, a person you definitely want on your team, as she's not only responsible and organized, but she shares her ideas and strategies freely. Anything to make our students' learning experience a little more successful. She has volunteered to mentor student teachers, and she takes her role as a coach very seriously. She wants each mentee to feel successful and move into the teaching profession prepared for what lies ahead. One of those student teachers is now a loved and respected teacher among our Rush staff. And as a nod to being a lifelong learner, Leslie has said that she enjoys working with student teachers as they bring new creative ideas to the table that she can learn from. Leslie is the definition of perseverance. Even when she dealt with an ongoing and devastating situation in her personal life, Leslie managed to come to school every day with a big smile on her face and much love in her heart. Working with her students gave her hope even on the toughest days. I could keep going on about Leslie, but I know you all want to get to bed at a reasonable hour, so I am just very proud to work alongside Leslie and extremely grateful for the opportunity to present her with this most distinguished and deserved award. Congratulations, Leslie.
Absolutely. So it is my great privilege tonight to recognize Mr. Mahegan as this year's Board of Education Achievement Award recipient for Rush School. Please come on up, Mr. Mahegan. Mr. Mahegan somehow is always smiling. Even now, he's still smiling. So Mr. Mahegan joined Cinnaminson in March of 2021, but even only having recently started his career with us in Cinnaminson, he has made great strides in his role as an ABA tech with us. When he first came to Cinnaminson, I believe he was at New Albany School for a few weeks, but then fortunately was transferred to our building, and we are very happy about that. He is a tremendous support to the students at Rush, particularly those with specialized learning needs. However, he is a very well-known and well-loved staff member amongst all of our students across the grade levels. He advocates for students to ensure proper programming and placement. He offers them really helpful strategies to overcome personal obstacles that they're having, as well as any academic difficulties they might face. And he is consistently warm and friendly in his demeanor with students and staff alike. Mr. Mahegan's knowledge of students is paramount in his approach to various situations, and he is a wonderful person to have in a crisis. He remains calm, cool, and collected.
I have observed firsthand Mr. Mahegan's patience as well as his compassion, and I'm truly thankful that he's a member of our staff. He can be seen substituting at times in various content and specialist area classrooms, which he does very willingly and with a glad heart, so we appreciate that as well. Mr. Hegan, in addition to his classroom responsibilities, also co-advises our ERS News Club for 5th grade students alongside Mr. Angelone. And together they bolster students' confidence and comfort levels with technology and broadcasting. So they prepare individual specialized stories for our morning ERS news program, and Mr. Mahegan oversees that. He is an avid Star Wars fan, and Mr. Mahegan consistently takes pride in always doing his best. We are very glad that he is part of the Rush family and not in a galaxy far, far away. Congratulations, Mr. Mahegan, and thank you so much.
That's good to know.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I have to be on the end.
Thank you.
Got those legs, thank you.
And now we have Mrs. Darlene Llewellyn, who is here to introduce to you our Educational Support Person Professional of the Year, Mrs. Brooke Kaffenberg.
So I get the privilege to introduce to you Mrs. Brooke Kaffenberg, our Educational Services Professional of the Year, and every non-teaching certified staff member in the district is up for this award, and Brooke is our 2022-23 award recipient, so congratulations. Brooke has been our district for almost 20 years and works the best to meet our students' needs. She works diligently to make her students get the therapy and the remediation they need in order to be successful. When she feels that a student is struggling, she works with the teachers and other speech-language specialists to produce ideas to better help the teacher and subsequently the student. She's a great cheerleader for our students as well as her colleagues. Brooke offers fascinating insight into her students' services and goals. She works hard to make sure her students receive these services that they require, but also making her sessions enjoyable. Brooke is consistently willing to lend an ear to her colleagues or to help problem solve a difficult case. She offers insightful ideas for all students in the classroom and supports teachers to assist these students in the classroom. Brooke extends herself outside her school day and to support our students and in the community. She is the Rush Student Council Advisor, helping students understand and develop leadership skills, as well as the importance of community service. Brooke volunteers for years at our Relay for Life every year. She is a community member and a Cinnaminson resident. Brooke is seen at many events around town by parents and students alike. She believes this connection with her helps her students in their sessions feel more relaxed, which in turn improves their skills. Brooke understands the importance of giving back to her profession. Each spring, she takes on a speech-language pathology graduate student to share her knowledge. She has been an amazing asset for these students, as well as her fellow speech-language specialists. She offers awesome advice during our speech-language meetings, as well as mentoring the tenured and non-tenured therapists. Her expertise and experience are absolute assets to this district. Congratulations, Brooke.
Now I'd like to welcome our team from the middle school, Ms. Melcher and Mr. Miley. And Ms. Barron. Not Ms. Barron, she's taking pictures.
Good evening. Cinnaminson Middle School is proud to announce our Governor's Educator of the Year, Mrs. Laura Curran. Curran is a product of the Cinnaminson educational system and is now giving back to the community that molded her into the educator that she is today. She came to the middle school from Rush about 3 years ago with a very strong background in mathematics and strategies that were yielding great success and results for her students in the elementary classroom. And these things have transferred beautifully to her placement in the middle school in a 6th grade math classroom. In Mrs. Curran's class, students are very often placed into centers, which doesn't sound like a huge undertaking, but with 25 students in a room with a wide range of abilities, this is quite an accomplishment. To watch it is to be in awe of it. Mrs. Curran is, quite honestly, diagnostic and methodical in her approach. She has a way of figuring out what every single kid in the room needs, and whether that's more challenge to grow or more support, Mrs. Curran is very adept at providing whatever it is that her students need. She's also no stranger to fun. She hosted a very successful math glow party earlier this year for 6th grade, which was a huge hit. And I think she really recognizes that in middle school, how you feel in your math classroom is very often a predictor of how you will perform in your math classroom. She is truly a valued member of the math department. She is someone who genuinely loves to learn. I affectionately like to call her a math geek. She's okay with it. She is extremely dedicated to the profession. She provides extra help before school starts, and she willingly shares with her colleagues. In addition, she's a high school coach for the girls lacrosse team, and I know she is greatly admired in this role as well. In summary, she's truly an integral part of our Cinnaminson community and so deserving of tonight's recognition. She is patient, she is kind, she is fun, and quite honestly, she's the kind of teacher I'd love for my own children to have. I am so proud of her hard work and all of her talents. Congratulations, Mrs. Curran.
It is my pleasure to introduce the 2022-23 Cinnaminson Middle School Board of Education Achievement Award winner, Mrs. Donna McGuigan. Described by the staff and students and community members as the voice and face of the middle school, Mrs. McGuigan is typically the first person you see when you come to the doors of the main office, and the first person you hear from when calling the building when your child is sick or you need additional information about a school-wide event. We as a building are very lucky to have her here as the first person that greets us, since she consistently treats everyone, parents, staff members, and children with empathy, respect, positivity for the past 23 years. No matter how busy the main office is, Donna's commitment to making CMS a warm and welcoming place never breaks stride. Even when faced with challenges or difficulties, Donna is committed to finding solutions, or at least a silver lining. When students or staff members report to the office for assistance, it is often that they need a quick reply. No matter how busy Donna is or how close she is to the daily attendance deadline, she would never hesitate to stop what she is doing to make sure the child or staff member gets what he or she needs. Lastly, Donna has played an important role with welcoming a new secretary to the main office this school year. She seamlessly has assumed the role of veteran and has made our newest staff member feel supported and successful. I would like to extend another congratulations to Ms. McGuigan for her role and presence in the main office, and CMS is a better place because of that.
I love you, Mom.
And finally, I'd like to welcome the team from the high school, Mr. Gorman again, and Dr. McCann.
Good evening. I am privileged to recognize Patty McNamara as the Governor's Educator of the Year for Cinnaminson High School.
Mr. McNamara has been a special education teacher at CHS for the last 12 years. During this time, he's played a pivotal role in the creation and expansion of the Life Skills program at CHS, and he continues that role as the Community Education Work Program Coordinator for our Life Skills students. Mr. McNamara is an easy pick for this award, as he represents all the things we look for in an outstanding educator. He's a master of his craft, he's charismatic in the classroom, and has an incredible gift for working with students at any level. What sets Mr. McNamara apart is his ability to connect with the individual students in his classroom. They know that he's authentically interested in them, who they are as a person, as well as who they are as a student. He's invested in their future and will help them overcome any obstacle that might be in their way of accomplishing their goals. One of the best moments for me this year was watching 3 of our life skills students attend Disney for our senior class trip. Mr. Mack was there supporting them, checking in on them, making sure that they were having a great time and being one of their biggest cheerleaders. So you're probably thinking, right, but you were in Disney, that's great. That's less great when you've been delayed in the airport for like 6 hours with a whole bunch of seniors and he's still smiling and encouraging the students and making sure that they know that everything's going to be great. Finally, Patty recognizes that in addition to all of the academic goals that we set for our students, our ultimate responsibility is to make great people. This is shown in his teaching, his coaching, his class advisorship, and how he carries himself in our building every single day. So picture this. Anybody been in a high school cafeteria lately? 200 freshmen? All right, so Mr. Mack's there every day because he runs the freshman lunch in the cafeteria. It's not quite your idea of a good time. Imagine you're the one in charge. Everything is really rowdy. It's not everyone's favorite place to be. Patty makes it great, not just for the students, but for the adults that are in the lunchroom. He makes sure that he checks in on them and makes sure that everything's going well. He also builds relationships with students that he doesn't even have in his class while he's in the lunchroom, which is also not something easy to do, but something that he takes the time to do to make sure that the students feel comfortable and feel like they're heard as people. His genuine concern for students and his positive attitude makes him an easy choice for this award. That's precisely what he does every single day, and for that I'm honored to recognize him as the Governor's Educator of the Year.
So last on this evening's agenda, but first, in the heart of the people at Cinnaminson High School, is our educator, our Board of Achievement Award winner, Ms. Yogita Fratto. Mrs. Fratto is one of the leaders in the high school math department and spearheads the creation of resources for the Algebra 1 team. She also took the lead in piloting a new math series this year for both Algebra 1 and 2. This year also, she is utilizing the Building Thinking Classrooms method with her classes in order to involve her students and create engaged learners. If you visit her class, you will find students up and at the boards, working in learning-centered teams, thinking and talking math. It is a fantastic approach that requires a lot of preparation, but make sure to put the students first. Furthermore, Yogita goes above and beyond in every area of her career. You never walk into her room without seeing her helping students or working with a colleague. She is a member of the Jane Weilenbeck and works to make sure that families in our town have what they need in order for their children to be successful in school. She helps with the meals and gifts during the holiday season by purchasing gift cards to ensure no one goes without. Mrs. Fratto is also a co-advisor to the Math League. Under her tenure, having become the co-advisor, the participation rate increased from 3 to 40 students, going from last place in the county to 4th. Mrs. Fratto is also involved in countless committees, including Sunshine Committee, Finals Committee, and the Equity Committee. Finally, she is the first vice president of the Cinnaminson Education Association and a vital member of its leadership team. It's in that hat that I most often get an opportunity to work with Yogita, and I'll say that she's a staunch voice for the members of her unit and for the people at the high school. I will say, though, while that can be sometimes frustrating, she's always coming to those conversations looking for a solution, right? We work together to make sure that we avoid obstacles and we find a way to make sure that we get anything that we need to get done while in preserving the needs of every member of the unit. I have come to rely on her as a sounding board when developing new ideas or looking to put into place a new practice, and she really does a phenomenal job of providing appropriate feedback and making sure that the students are the center of what we're trying to accomplish. Without further ado, please congratulate Ms. Yogita Fratto as the Board of Achievement Leader.
Pull your hair there. Thank you for that. In just a moment, Mrs. Fitzwater is going to call for a brief 5-minute recess. While everybody in the audience is certainly welcomed and encouraged to stay for the balance of the board meeting, I do believe we have some young ones here who may be up against the bedtime. Once again, a round of applause for all of our wonderful award winners. And thank you to those of you family members, friends, and colleagues who came to support our recognees this evening. So, Mrs. Fitzwater.
And we will take a 5-minute recess until 8:16.
Motion. I knew that. And, yeah, I told him, I said, you better
Come
be
to you,
really
Dan.
good if you're going to put. Great.
Known their dad.
Don't look out quiet, quick, hot mic. Yeah, very nice. Do we say something? Everybody motion to, reconvene?
Mr. Evans, can I have a motion to reconvene the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're back in session. We're moving on to Section 8, correspondence to the board. I have nothing. Anybody else have anything to share? Okay, then we're moving on to Section 9, committee reports. We have a curriculum committee meeting this month, and Mr. Gaffney is going to share the minutes.
The Curriculum and Student Activities Committee met on Tuesday, May the 2nd at 8 a.m. Dr. Goulburn provided warm cinnamon buns and hot coffee. The committee reviewed a presentation from the middle school regarding some changes to the academic program. The committee was briefed on the return of summer camp to the district. Information will go out to families later this week. A request was reviewed regarding the addition of AP Art to Cinnaminson High School's course offerings. And finally, several routine items, including field trips and professional development requests, were discussed. And that's it, Mrs. Fitzwater.
Thank you, Mr. Gaffney. Mr. Bromhall, can I have a motion to approve Section 9 committee reports, letter A?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Evans?
Pardon me?
Vote? Aye.
Oh, aye, sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 10, public items for items appearing on the agenda. So members of the public are reminded that comments should be limited to items appearing on this meeting's agenda. There will be another opportunity during this meeting to comment on non-agenda items. Do we have anybody who wishes to speak on agenda items? Okay, we're going to move on to Section 11, personnel certificated. Mr. Capello.
Thank you, Mrs. Fitzwater. Under Section 11A, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 9 that are listed in the agenda. Item B, retirements and resignations, seeking the board to approve numbers 1 and 2. Under teaching overload C, seeking the board to approve item 1. There are no advancements on the guide this evening. Under E, extra duty appointments, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 5 as listed in the agenda. There are leaves of absence, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 4 as listed in the agenda. Under letter G, seeking the board to approve the following substitute teachers to be called on an as-needed basis, and those names are listed under Section G in the agenda. Under tutors, letter H, seeking the board to approve numbers 1 and 2. Under letter I, student teachers, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 3. We have no mentor teachers for approval. So that is the certificated staff members.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Mrs. Iacone, can I have a motion to approve Section 11, personnel certificated items A through J?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gaffney. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Bromhall?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Moving on to Section 12, personnel non-certificated. Mr. Capello.
Real quick before we move on to Section 12, any members of the admin team have a friend here to introduce, Ms. Melcher?
Hey, good evening. I'm so excited to introduce two very patient new hires for the President's tonight's meeting. First, I'd like to introduce you to Patty Bennett. She's going to be our new special education teacher. She earned her BA from Monmouth and her master's at St. Joe's. She has 17 years of experience at the Yale School, most recently at their Medford campus, and we're very excited to bring her on board next school year. And I'd also like to introduce you to Jenny Ito, who is our newest math hire for next school year, earning her BA and master's from Rutgers, and has over 10 years of experience in the classroom, working most recently in the Bordentown School District. So congratulations to you both.
Congratulations. Welcome to Cinnaminson, and yes, thank you for your patience, but hopefully you got an opportunity to see some of our awesome teachers recognized this evening. So now we'll move along to Section 12, non-certificated. Under letter A, resignations, retirements, seeking the board to approve the singular item listed in the agenda. Under letter B, seeking the board to approve the singular item listed in the agenda. Under letter C, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 4 as listed in the agenda. Under letter D, extra duty, seeking the board to approve items 1 and 3. Under letter E, transfer, seeking the board to approve items 1 and 2. Under job descriptions, there are 2 listed in the board agenda for approval of the board. And under letter G, substitutes and volunteers, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 4 as listed in the agenda. Mrs. Fitzwater.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Mr. Evans, can I have a motion to approve Section 12 Personnel Non-Certificated Items A through G?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Iacone. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Bromhall?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion approved. Moving on to Section 13, Curriculum and Instruction. Dr. Goldburn.
Thank you very much. Under 13, letter A, requesting board approval of the professional development requests that are attached. Under letter B, requesting approval of the field trip requests that are attached. C, there is nothing this month. Under letter D, the annual renewal of curriculum for the next school year. Under letter E, requesting board approval of the addition of advanced placement art as a course at Cinnaminson High School for the next school year. Under letter F, memberships, numbers 1 and 2 for athletics at Cinnaminson High School. And letter G is ratifying and affirming the HIB grades for the district schools and the district grade. These grades were submitted to the board back in October. There's a committee at each school made up of administrators, teachers, counselors, parents who help complete a self-assessment, and the maximum score is a 78, and it's based on adherence to all of the expectations in the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. So you can see the individual scores there for each of the schools, and the average of those 5 scores is the district average of 71. So I'd request approval of those items, please.
Thank you, Dr. Goldburn. Mr. Gaffney, can I have a motion to approve Section 13, items A through G?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Bromhall?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion approved. Moving on to special education, Mrs. Llewellyn.
Thank you, Mrs. Fitzwater. Under letter A, contracts, seeking the board to approve the 2 contracts listed in the agenda for the 2022-23 school year. Under B, student placements, seeking the board to ratify and affirm a tuition contract agreement for 1 student at Hampton Academy. Under letter C, consultant agreement, seeking the board to approve the 2 consultant agreements as listed in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Llewellyn. Mr. Kenny, can I have a motion to approve Section 14, special ed, items A through C?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Bromhall?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion approved. Moving on to 15, we have no policies. Moving on to Section 16, business and finance, Mr. Egan.
Thank you, Mrs. Fitzwater. Under letter A, grants, request that the board approves the additional funding request for 2022-23 services under chapters 192, 193 as attached. Letter B, finance, request that the board approves the mileage reimbursement requests for staff members as attached, and request that the board approves the establishment of the Roman J. Young Scholarship Fund as attached. Under letter C, operations, that the board accepts with appreciation the donations as listed there on the agenda. And item 2 is that the board authorizes the board secretary business administrator to advertise for competitive bids in accordance with New Jersey statutes for the installation of above-ground storage fuel tanks. Under letter D, contracts. 1, we have 2 tuition agreements. The first one, requesting that the board approves the non-resident tuition agreement for a student that was received at a prorated basis for the amount of $3,016.65 for the remainder of this 2023 school year. B, that the board approves the sending tuition agreement between Cinnaminson Board of Ed and the Morristown Board of Ed for a student for the period retroactive back to January 3rd, 2023, and through the balance of this school year, at a prorated amount of $13,899. 2, we have a joint transportation agreement. Request that the board approves a joint transportation agreement between Cinnaminson Township Board of Education as the host district and Cherry Hill Township Board of Education as the joiner district for Route SE 49 retroactive to February 27, 2023 through June 15, 23 as attached. Thank you. I'm requesting approval for these.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Mr. Bromhall, can I have a motion to approve Section 16, Business and Finance, items A through D?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Evans?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye, motion approved. We have no other business this evening?
This evening.
So we're going to move on to 18, public comments on any item that anyone would like to speak about.
Read the
You want me to do it?
blurb.
Members of the public are reminded that if they wish to speak, when called upon, participants should state their first and last name and address clearly for the record in accordance with the Cinnaminson Board of Education bylaw. Comments will be limited to a maximum of 4 minutes per person.
Invited you all to the upcoming CPAG meeting and inclusion presentation, and I appreciate that Mr. Capello and other members of the administration and staff attended, as well as many parents, both in person and virtually. It was by far the most well-attended CPAG meeting of the year. The following is a quote from an opinion article that was written for Disability Awareness Month this past March. This was written by Michael Martirano, Superintendent of Howard County Public Schools in Maryland. Research as well as lived experience have given us a new perspective on how and where special education should take place. We now know that separating special education students from their typically developing peers is not only fundamentally unjust, it is counterproductive. And we know, again, based on research and experience, that an inclusive approach benefits all students, not just those with educational disabilities. The New Jersey Department of Education is sponsoring a conference on inclusion on June 9th that I hope the district will consider attending. This conference is for administrators, educators, parents, and self-advocates with workshops provided by nationally recognized inclusive education experts, leaders, and advocates who have extensive experience in the field. Attendees can earn up to 7 professional development hours. As a parent and advocate for my son, I will be traveling to Montclair to spend the day learning about inclusive education. Thank you for considering my last invitation. I hope you'll consider this one as well.
Thank you, Ms. Joyce.
Anyone else? Okay. We're going to have comments from the board. Mr. Kenny.
Congratulations to all our faculty and staff members who were selected as Board Achievement Award winners and Governor Educators of the Year. Thank you for all the donations, with a special thank you to the Spencer family for their generous donation to our children. Thank you to Emma and Lucia for their concise reports. A big thank you to Mr. Faltz and Ms. Dawkins for their insightful presentation. The next regularly scheduled board meeting will be June 13th at 7 p.m. right here in the cafetorium. Information may be found on the district website. That's all. Good night.
We are going to go into executive session, but we do not have
We do not anticipate any additional action.
Thank you. We do not anticipate any additional action this evening. So, Mr. Ziacone, can I have a motion to convene into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're going into executive session. Good night.